This is Ross from Texas. Ross has acquired a sizable following under the alias Dread Pirate Roberts and a modest fortune in Bitcoin within a few months, but he's also on the FBI's most wanted list. How did a Texas middle-class 20-year-old physics graduate end up on the FBI's most wanted list? We will find out in this video, but before moving further, we would like you to subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends and family. Now that you've done that, let's dive straight into it. Beneath the normal internet we all know, there lies the dark web, a weird corner of the internet where no one is known to each other, but even then it keeps on prevailing. The biggest site on the dark web was Silk Road, an online black market for all kinds of illegal goods and services, and if I said it, I really mean it. This dark web had human body parts to weapons, to hitmen, and most commonly drugs were listed on it. It was kind of a dark Amazon. The ecosystem was so strong that you can buy any of these in few clicks and get it delivered at your doorstep anonymously. Ross, the mastermind, grew up in a loving family in Texas, studied physics at university, and was very sweet and loving guy who, inside him, with the desire to change the world, was fueling up to catch fire. He tried many business ideas but failed. But he was of a kind who always thought that why government should regulate their lifestyle. He always took his stand on a free environment with no regulations, and people could do whatever they want. Often an argument with his surrounding fellow drops up, in which he always said that drugs should be considered as illegal because it is not the government to decide what to put inside your bodies and what not. And that is why he wanted freedom. Neither he was a drug addict or alcoholic, but he does think like that. And his requirements were met when he discovered Tor, the gateway to access the dark web where you couldn't be tracked or spotted. The idea to build a marketplace was not going to happen right now, as the acceptance of payments online via the credit card or something, which included the banks, couldn't be possible. But surprisingly, at that time, Bitcoin came out, and Ross got the final key to unlock the door, and this was the beginning of the online Silk Road. It was too difficult to make up on his own, as his girlfriend Julia said, but Ross was determined. But as the project was coming to its end, Ross realized that he has nothing to sell on it. Then he rented a building to grow some mushrooms, and these mushrooms were the first product, which was listed on the Silk Road. And this name only bought up his first order, because he thought he had to promote it somewhere, but he couldn't do that like how it's done normally, right? But what he did, he went on a website, and then he commented pretending being a customer of Silk Road, which made people to check out what's going on. And this is how gradually the traffic started to show up, and not even customers. Illegal sellers also started listing up their illegal products on Silk Road, for which he used to charge 6.23% as commission on every trade. And this comment of his changed the entire course of his life. But at the same time, this comment was his biggest mistake ever. How? I'll get back to it later in the video, so do not skip any part of the video. Okay. So further, he also built a rating system to rate the quality of the product, especially the drugs. And soon after working tirelessly, he started making thousands of dollars. But when he told Julia about it, she was not very much excited on hearing that, as she was a bit concerned about the fact that what he is actually doing. Now, he was slowly reaching heights, and as his grown mushrooms were finished, he decided not to sell, but to stick to the commissions instead, as he was making good from that only. Everything was going good. One day he woke up and saw that some seller had listed guns on his website. He tried to rationalize and saw that in America, keeping a weapon with you is fully legal, so that's not gonna make any issue. But a serious debate took place with Julia, who was saying that why would anyone buy a gun illegally, which makes sense though. But as Ross was stubborn, he didn't listen to her arguments, which made Julia furious, and she went to Erica's home, a friend of her. She started vomiting everything about Ross and told her to keep this confidential, but she kept her promise for a while. And then one day, Ross saw a public post on his wall saying, "I'm sure the authorities would like to know about Ross Ulbricht's drug websites." He felt so broken that his love had betrayed him, but alongside the emotion of fear was also piling up. He immediately deleted that post and phoned her in tears, begging her never to mention it to anyone again. But you know what? Erica's post was actually a revenge post for the product he bought from Silk Road. But luckily she deleted that post on time. After that, they broke up because Julia laid a condition. either to leave or shut all these things up. He chose to leave, and after that, he decided to leave the country for a while, just as a precaution. While in travel, the most challenging thing to do was to access his website frequently, because he had to visit various cafes or some spot where he could access the internet. And also, if he found a cafe, the thing was, he had to work secretly so that he does not get caught up, as he was technically a wanted person. That is why he always picks up the corner of the cafe, and also he programmed his laptop in a way that if a certain key is pressed, the whole screen would go blank so that no one could see what he was doing. After some time, he realized that just like any other growing business, he also needs employees to help him. So he started recruiting internally by hiring active users of Silk Road to help him manage everything. Soon he had 10 employees, while Ross was technically paying them, but most of them viewed it as more than a job, because they all had similar political views and together they felt they were building something big here, and that Silk Road was going to change the world. Also, if you are going a bit popular, you are getting known to more and more people, and everyone is not there to like you, especially in these kind of underground dark things, right? Similarly, as Ross being popular in the dark web, his enemies were also growing. And for this he hired 2 hitmen just to murder those who likely were to be his enemy. Meanwhile, on the other side, FBI was also regularly trying to track him as they got a clue of what is going on. Everything was going fine, but one day he did a small mistake, and this became the reason of his empire getting demolished. That day, when he first commented on the website being a user of Silk Road, he'd put his personal email ID, and while investigating, FBI found it. And with that, they tracked Ross and caught him. They really caught him in a very interesting way. They started keeping an eye on him, waiting for the real moment to catch him red-handed. And yes, guys, this was the next level setup by the police. He was in a library of San Francisco, sat on a table, opened his laptop, and then a beautiful lady walks in and sat next to the table Ross was sitting upon. Ross logged into the website, and at the same time, poor librarian drops her cup on the floor, which distracted Ross. And the moment he got distracted, that lady quickly snaps the laptop out of his hands. And suddenly, the gunmen showed up, and then he was arrested. The game was now over, and that one mistake in the beginning was must enough to crush the entire empire. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel as well. And I'll see you in the next video. Till then, peace.